Hey guys, how's it going? It is Kire here with another Infinite Magicraid video, and in today's video I want to break down the updated list for my favorite exclusive ones here in this game. Yes, not that many people are going to be getting the Phantom Dragon Eye. I know it's a controversial time in this game right now because of the event, but I figured this would be a good time to at least update this list. So if you do happen to get one now or in the future, you can figure out which ones I think are the best and maybe apply one to one of these heroes. Yeah, so this is not an exact science, and also if you're planning on applying more than just one, then this kind of breaks down a bit because there's a lot more nuance to potentially leveling up an exclusive 3 character versus just picking a really good bang for your buck exclusive 1. So with all that being said, let's get into this, and also feel free to ask questions down in the comments below. When it comes to this and me directly recommending to you guys, I need to know like full context here, so it's very difficult to answer this without like knowing everything about the account, but I can at least give you guys my thoughts on the best exclusive ones. The first one, I think this is the no-brainer. It's a Zonia here. This is easily the best exclusive one. If you had to pick one character the entire game to put it on and you had him, it's going to be this guy. And the reason why is because of Dragon Flame. This move additionally triggers HP burning to deal damage once. This is amazing literally in all content in the game, whether it be arena, whether it be PvP, PvE, all that stuff. And you can essentially make him an HP burner, so he's amazing against bosses. But what this does is essentially makes him like the best nuker in the game, especially when it comes to PvE content, not necessarily for PvP, because it's all percentage damage. So you can really cheese out waves as long as you're doing this. You can combine this with focus, and he resets the cooldown, so he can, paired with another HP burner, nuke down multiple waves to get to the boss immediately. This is easily one of the best exclusives in the entire game, and I think this easily makes the list as the best one to choose. And some of these are kind of organized, but for the most part this is all in random order of the top 12 exclusive ones. So now let's go to the next one here, and I'm going to go with Margarita. And I picked this one first because I think this is going to be one of the more accessible ones, because everyone gets Margarita, and then if you want to put this on her, it makes her an amazing nuker. This is what it's going to change here on her Blade Dance ability. It makes it to where it has 4 stages of attack now and grants 1 more layer of blade. So that's gonna go with her passive here. So when you get 6 layers and then you book it down to 4 layers, the ultimate not only does another 130% damage, but then it also triggers her passive immediately. So that is why Margarita's nuke so hard. Me personally, I think this is amazing in PvP, but I don't really value PvP too highly early. I would recommend picking up characters that are going to scale better at being able to beat content. And then this is something that I think is great. And I get beat by fast spaces into Margarita with a Biscuit all the time. It's super good in arena, but arena is only going to take you so far in my opinion. And then this is a really tough comp to be able to run against another like faster space, for example. So just keep that in mind. I think this is one of those things that, yes, it's an amazing bang for your buck Dragon Eye, but you got to question just how important is it for me to have a good arena team. Let's go to the third one here, and this is Asindo. Another PvP character for the most part, but I think a lot of people can really benefit from her in campaign and in really difficult PvE scenarios where you need to make sure that the enemies can't use their moves, because she can silence, which is an amazing passive. Having this increased self-turn meter by 30% at the beginning of each wave, super good, because for the most part, the big turn meter increaser is going to be space, and her base level is 20%, but you need to exclusive 3 her to get that 30% turn meter. So keep in mind, if you ever see a space at exclusive 3, be very careful, because it's going to be super difficult to out turn meter this space here. What's going to happen for the most part is that extra 10% turn meter is going to make another character go. And then if they have Luna, for example, she also has a turn meter boost, and that's going to shoot up everyone else before your characters, unless you also have your own second turn meter booster that's fast as well. So just keep that in mind. But that's what's so cool about Asindo, is that Asindo has this 30% just with an exclusive 1. Then you can do this here where it's going to have the 75% chance to inflict silence on them for 1 turn. This is something that if you have a ton of effect hit, it's going to be guaranteed from the testing that I've done. And then reduces their turn meter and gains another action turn. This is just an amazing character, no brainer when it comes to putting a exclusive on her. In my opinion, I think this is a little better than the Margarita one just because this silence is so useful in multiple game modes. Whereas Margarita, I feel like there's not that many PvE game modes where you're really going to want to have an AoE nuker. It just, in my experience, it's just not that great of a thing in PvE, but it is pretty amazing in PvP. Okay, so now let's move on to number 4. Okay, so number 4 is going to be Millie. I think this is an amazing character still, even though I think his Zonia is better for the most part. Millie is still awesome, and so is her exclusive. So let's break that down. It's very simple, but all it is just turning her Valkyrie status for one more turn. But that's super impactful because her Valkyrie status is awesome, and being able to get this one more turn means you have this going on for her skills enhanced for 3 turns, and then it's on a 5 turn cooldown. It makes it to where you can keep the Valkyrie status going for longer, which just means more counterattacks, more HP burning. It's really not that crazy of a concept here, but it's awesome. And then it only gets better from there. The E2 for her, I think, is super impactful. That's where it really starts to shine for Millie, in my opinion. And then exclusive 3 is great too, but that's a topic for another video. But overall, you can't go wrong with this if this is your only HP burner. I think a lot of people really double down on this. This is actually my first Dragon Eye. I ended up putting in her. I don't regret it at all. I think it's an amazing E1. Let's go to Elena. I think this is going to be one that's pretty slept on because it doesn't look that good up front. Because she's a support character, people might not even be checking on her to see if she has a good exclusive one, but it's absolutely incredible. So it deals 140% defense damage to all enemies and removes their buffs. But the exclusive one means that there's a 70% chance to reduce all enemy speed by 40% for 2 turns. Be sure to crank up the effect hit over their effect hit res by quite a bit, so then you can guarantee land this, and this is going to make a massive difference for your dungeon runs, for arena, basically all content you want to speed down, let alone the speed down 2 and an AoE. It's already effective enough on space, for example, and she has it only targeting one character. Yes, she does boost the speed up of everyone around her, but a 40% AoE, I would prefer to have that. Then she has this heal here and cleanses attribute debuffs. Just a very good character that only gets better with more exclusives. I think this is one of those priority characters that every single exclusive is amazing, and you can easily take her to exclusive 3 with no regrets. Okay, so next up on the list here, we have Tuck. This is also potentially a slept on character because he's all CC based and he's all freezing. Maybe not necessarily obvious that he's a great character. And this is what his exclusive one does, where Tuck acts 1 extra turn after casting Frost Guard. What Frost Guard does is it has a 50% chance to freeze all enemies and all allies. And then he's immune to freeze. He gets to go again. And then also he has his ultimate here that he can do right after that increases max HP cap by 25% for 2 turns. This is good because if you're on a boss, for example, your HP burn damage will actually go up from this. Obviously, your survivability would go up from this. Healing is going to go up. So this is a very good thing to have. Meanwhile, grants all allies a shield of 40% max HP, which is obviously really good. All of this on a 4-turn cooldown. So super good ability there. And it also speeds this up. So you can be able to freeze everyone and then immediately go into this. So that's another reason. So it turns it, I believe, to a 3-turn cooldown, which I think is amazing. I think that's the sweet spot for your shielding. So I think Tuck is easily one of the best characters of the game, and all it takes is just one exclusive to make him up there. So let's go on to the next one, and that is going to be Nidrolt. Yeah, I guess sticking with the same theme as freezing characters, he's also heavily used in PvP, so based on how much you actually care about this. But the thing about him, though, is that in PvP, I can't think of really any counter except just getting lucky with the freezes. Yes, you have Catherine, but if you have other CCs as well, potentially you're just going to stay frozen, because if it's like, let's say you have a freeze plus a HP burn or freeze plus some other kind of debuff, then it's going to be a 50-50 or like a 33% chance of Catherine actually cleansing the thing that's CCing her, then being able to go again. So keep that in mind when it comes to her, even though Catherine is a really good way of being able to cleanse all these buffs, potentially not going to happen, and then you'll be able to just nuke them. So what his exclusive, the whole point of his exclusive one is to be able to allow him to just cheat out a turn without needing to worry about speed. We can take a look here. Exclusive 1 is Seal Cast Giant Ice Shield immediately at the beginning of each wave. He is immune to this death when taking fatal damage. Meanwhile, restores his HP by 15% of max HP. This effect only takes up to once per wave, so it just immediately goes. But then when he does his ultimate, you'll see that he gets to go again. I'm not going to read this in this video, but he immediately gets to take another turn, and then the rest of your team could go. And they're frozen, and it disrupts them. Really annoying character to deal with, and the exclusive one is really that engine that makes it possible, because without that, you would actually need to put speed on him, and then you can just get outsped. So not nearly as good. And also probably pretty good in PvE scenarios, just as a good disruptor slash healer, but easily most used in PvP. Okay, so next here, we have Nidrolt, potentially another slept on character. I think this character is absolutely insane. I've seen screenshots up to like 100 million damage of just him in the Guild Boss 6. Yes, they're like massive whales, but still massive whales, they're going to be able to tell the difference between the characters there at the crazy high damage numbers, and he was really be able to bring out the damage during the Guild Boss. And why he's able to do so much damage is because his passive is very unique. And what it does, it basically just means he gets to ignore 80% defense, and you get to just build a mastery and attack and all this stuff to be able to allow him to do damage, and he's applying bleeds. So 80% of the damage dealt by Nidrolt is considered bleed damage and will be affected by mastery, but cannot land a crit. Besides, Nidrolt deals 15% more bleed damage. That becomes what, 21, 24, 27% more bleed damage, and bleed damage ignores defense. Yes, he can't crit, but I'll take that trade-off any day to be able to guarantee all this damage here, especially with being able to bleed. But what his exclusive one does is, okay, so normally this deals 230% damage to all enemies. The damage of this attack increases by 10% for each layer of bleed the target has, up to 50%. So 230 and then another 115 on there because of the up to 50%. But then Nidrolt additionally casts Sword Mastery one time after casting it for every one enemy under bleed status. Nidrolt casts Sword Mastery one more time up to 3 times. The damage dealt by the extra Sword Mastery is half for each following casting. So he gets to cast this like 4 times. Like, it's one of the biggest nukes in the game. I believe people have done the math on it. I want to say bigger than Margarita's nuke, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But it's easily one of the biggest nukes here, and he has one of the best single target moves in the game because this randomly attacks enemies 5 times. If you're facing like a guild boss, for example, it's going to randomly target him every single time. 40% chance to land a bleed is fantastic. Does a ton of damage in and of itself because of how his passive works. So amazing character, and then it gets even better at exclusive 3 because he gets to cast it 8 times. I think this character is super good, and ever since his changes makes him one of the most sought after damage dealers in the game. Next character is Slavelle. This is actually one of my first Dragon Eyes. I believe this was my Halloween Dragon Eye I ended up using on her. So the stuff I'm talking about here, I definitely put into practice myself. What she ends up doing is it allows her to go again. So like her kit is very simple. She basically doesn't need any crit rate. This is a guaranteed crit. This right here is a guaranteed crit on the second side and a guaranteed chance to land defense, so she doesn't need effect hit, or defense down I should say. And then she gets attack up 2 for everyone, and then her exclusive means that it extends it and she gets to go again. Also, she has control immunity, which is nice because she doesn't get CC'd, so you don't have to worry about, in the guild boss for example, getting stunned, which is nice, especially paired with Zia. She doesn't get stunned either. So you can have both of them in there, not have to worry about taking that hit and reducing your damage. And then a 40% attack up is a massive deal. Like, you really start to notice the damage increase, especially with like other characters that are just like raw damage dealers. Like my Zia's damage goes through the roof when I'm pairing her with Slavelle. You see a lot of Lucifers paired with Slavelle as well. And then getting that extra turn is super nice too, because it's guaranteed on a 2-turn cooldown because it's already on a 3-turn. So everyone on your team, essentially, once you do this exclusive, for the rest of the encounter, everyone's going to have attack up 2 for the entire encounter. Okay, so next character is Zia. This is actually the character I went all in on. So I ended up pulling an extra copy of her for 1. And then I planned it to where when I finally got 10 epic Phantom Dragon Eyes, I combined them. And that was my 2. And then the Christmas event, I was able to beat it. And then that was my 3. So that is why my Zia is exclusive 3 here. And this is another character that I'm using as an example of a good one that I ended up doing myself. So here, let's actually check her out, why I think she's actually really good for this. I was planning on, she's a great damage dealer for Sword Harbor guards. Plan was to do really good in the, or really focus faction Abyss with the Sword Harbor guards. So far, I think it's paying off. But this is what her exclusive 1 does. Concentrate increase additionally increases piercing rate by 30%, and she gains immunity to control effects while the skill is active. This is super clutch in arena. It makes her so much better being able to do this and not have to worry about all the freezes going around, any stuns potentially, none of that. You don't have to worry about any of it, and you can reliably allow her to do this move, which is a massive steroid, and then completely just delete someone with her ultimate. With exclusive 2, she gets AoE, and then exclusive 3, she gets the nuke, and then also being able to reset her turn plus turn meter and stuff. So she's a character that's scalable. She's not just a character you're going to get to exclusive 1 and kind of end it there. I do think in a vacuum, Lucifer is probably just the better nuker for like the majority of situations. So if you're going to be going like Red Mark, for example, or if you have a ton of characters in the Doom Legion, I'd recommend just going all in on Lucifer. But that is a whole very nuanced topic depending on your account there. But I just think character for character, Lucifer's definitely better, but I really like Zia and I'm glad I went for her. And then it's kind of like a mini Lucifer that you can pick up, and so then I can focus on other characters, like for example Benasta, like I'm doing now. So that's how I look at Zia. I think she's an amazing character that is good all the way. Like every single exclusive was impactful. Next is going to be Nicholas. I figured, unfortunately, I got to put him on here. He's an amazing character, but he's complete whale stuff. You have to go all in. If you're going to be getting him, you're going to be spending a ton of money, or it means you diligently planned your wish event to be able to barely make it, you know, to 1 copy. I think it's exclusive 1. Like if you're going to do it, you have to do it now. It's going away, but this exclusive 1 is so good. I think it's warranted talking about. I think it's one of the best exclusive ones in the entire game. And what it does is he already gives 40% shield on a 3-turn cooldown. That alone is good. That's basically what Wim does. His is on a 4, but he goes again, so that becomes a 3. But then he's also increasing the ally speed by 40% for 2 turns, which is absolutely incredible. Combine that with the speed down and the freeze extend, he's just absolutely insane support slash turn manipulator, you know, slash freezer. So amazing character that I think he really comes online though at exclusive 1. He also gets completely busted at exclusive 3, but this is like $1,000. So, you know, with like decent luck. So there's that guy. Wanted to at least talk about him because I think he's absolutely incredible. So if you are a person that has the money for this and you don't care, you're just like, okay, should I even get him? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, absolutely. This is the character you whale out for. I just wanted to highlight this and show just how good I think it is. And it's going to be Taff, actually. So Taff is actually interesting because he extends the poisons, or he extends dots durations. So what's cool about it is that he doesn't just extend poisons. He extends all the dots. It doesn't matter. So you can pair him with an HP burner. You can pair him with bleeders, poisoners. Doesn't matter, exclusive, reset the duration of all dot debuffs. I think that's interesting. And when you compare that with his passive that's already landing poison guaranteed, or not guaranteed, but like in the beginning of each wave. And then he has this here with the intertwined. I think this is a good arena character, good potential PvP or PvE character as well. So I think this guy's really solid. I think there's also a lot of exclusives in this kind of range. I think we covered most of the super impactful, really heavy hitter ones here. But I think like Walter, for example, he has a good one, immune to poison. I think that's fantastic. And then I think a lot of these characters might not necessarily have a good E1, but they have a very impactful E2s and E3s, but that is its whole other video. So that's pretty much it when it comes to this. Guys, let me know in the comments below if there's any other ones that you really like that you think were missed out on. Definitely highlight that. And with that, guys, I'm out of here. Peace.